am done with the acrylic on all of the nails. As you can see, this stuff that's all around is some of that dried acrylic that, you know, kind of got on my skin or whatever, so it's kind of messy. That's not a big deal. I'm going to fix that in just a second. So if you have any leftover acrylic liquid, you just pour it back in your little bottle so we're not wasting money. Put your lid on it because it's a little fumy. You're done with this. Pop your little lid back on your little ceramic dish. You can put that away. And your brush, I forgot to show you this. If you got any acrylic on it, just pick that off. But I did this earlier. When you're done with your brush, wipe it off in this liquid, in the sculpture liquid or the acrylic liquid, and then just take your paper towel and just, you know, make sure you don't have any acrylic on it, because if you do, it's going to harden, and then your brush is going to be like rock hard and it'll be ruined. Okay, so at this point, the nails are completely put on, okay? You can hear now the acrylic is not all the way dry. It's still a little bit soft. So what I do at this point is I take my nail file, and I did get some acrylic stuff on my skin. So what I do is I take, you know, the gentle side of my nail file, or even the coarse side if yours isn't that coarse, and I'm not going to file my nail, but I'm just going to find, you know, those little places on my skin where I might have gotten a little spilled acrylic, you know, so it's kind of on my skin. I feel like a nail file gets it off better than like nail polish remover or acetone, which will also get it off of your skin if you prefer that. But I just kind of take this little file, and if it, you know, dripped down anywhere, I'm just going to kind of rub it. If you just rub it over it a little bit, it turns it back into the powder, and you can just get it off real quick. So I've kind of cleaned up if there was any extra acrylic hanging out on my nails. And the next thing that I do is I take my file, and you're going to have some kind of acrylic that bled onto the side of your nail normally if you're like me. So what I do is I take my file and I just kind of turn it to the side, and I'm going to start on my skin and just kind of go up sideways on your nail until you actually become parallel with the actual nail itself. This is kind of like starting the shaping portion. So just go on the side if you've got any hardened acrylic there, and you're just going to kind of wear that away till it's parallel with the rest of your nail. So like right. Okay, so I went and washed my hands after I kind of just went around the edges, and you'll see it still looks a bit cloudy, but this isn't, you know, just the best quality acrylic. So it looks a little bit cloudy, which is why I said I don't really recommend the at-home for a French tip, because if I was going to do this as a French tip, I could put a clear top coat over this and I could be pretty much done. But as you'll see, it's kind of cloudy. Now if I paint a whole polish over this, I mean, it looks great so far. So the last step is going to be just to kind of shape the nails. What I mean by that is if you look at them from, you know, the front or whatever, you'll see that they're kind of bumpy. You'll see I have little bumps here and there. They may not be even. So like look at this one, it's thinner here and it's thicker on this side. So, you know, they're not perfect looking. So the two options you have is a regular nail file or an electric drill, nail file, whatever. So a lot of times I will just use a regular file because I feel like when you use a regular file, you can have a little bit more precision, a little bit more control. So I will use a regular file. The other thing you can do is you can use like one of the electric files that they use at a salon. Now I've seen them at Walmart. They have battery operated ones where it's just a little drill and you put a battery in it and it kind of spins with the nail file in the end. I've seen those at Walmart for like $10, maybe $20. They're really cheap. So that's a great option. I have a really old one that I bought when I bought the rest of this stuff, so about 3 years ago, and I don't remember if I got this at Sally's or if I got this at Walmart. And it's called the Nail Genie. It's called a professional whatever. I don't remember how much this cost. It might have been $30 or $40. It wasn't all that expensive. I didn't get, you know, anything special about it. So this is like the old school model before they've made the little battery operated ones that they have at Walmart. So since this is my old school model that I just have hiding in my stuff, I'm going to use this one. So this is like a portable drill that they have at a nail salon. So since I haven't used this stuff in like 3 years, I thought I'd just bust this thing out and give it some attention. So okay, it doesn't have a pedal like the ones that they have, but it's just got a high and a low. Okay, so you can put it on high, you can put it on low, or you can put it in the middle. I usually put it on low, and as you're working, you can, you know, change that setting. So you plug it in, which I'll do that in just a second. You plug it in, and then you just connect this cord here to the battery pack, and then you've got this. Now, like I said, I would recommend getting one of the battery ones from Walmart because they don't have this cord that's in the way. The battery ones are just like this part and then the little bits. This one came with some different options. You know, it's got like a really coarse drill. It's got a buffer, which is just like a little felt to polish. It's got... This one's like a really fine, not as coarse grain. It's got this little wheel that you can put a sandpaper pad on the bottom, which I'm not going to use that because there's no point. And then it has like just some little extra, you know, files or the bits that you put into the end of it. And it has this little case. I don't know, this thing is old. It's like totally retro. It's so funny. Okay, so basically... these would be the only 3 I would ever use. So, you can start off with the coarse one. I usually use the coarse one just because you know, it does a better job and it works a little faster. You just pop it in the end of that, and then you're just going to turn it on and I usually just run it over the top just to kind of even them out. And I'll also put them underneath here because you will get acrylic underneath your nail if you'll look. Underneath this one, see this little drip of acrylic they got under there? If you go to the salon, they have the little tiny, it's like really, really tiny. It looks like a pencil, and they'll run it underneath your nail to get rid of that. I don't have a drill bit like that. I could probably get one to use with this, but I don't have one, and I'm not going to spend money on it. So I'm just going to use what I have. So let me plug this in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my little drill. So see, you can pop it on low, high. Don't use high. You're going to hurt yourself. I know I'm going to hurt myself. So it's kind of loud. So basically, this is just, it's a nail file that you don't got to do this with. It just spins on its own. So basically, it's really loud. I'm going to turn it on low. And I'm just going to kind of run it over the top of the nail here. And it just kind of evens it out. Okay. Now, that's a little extreme, and if I didn't have this thing, I wouldn't use it, but I got it. But I actually think that I prefer just using a nail file and then using this with the buffer because it will buff it really good. So anyway, you can do the same thing with a nail file and use your fine grit, not your coarse grit, because you don't want to totally screw up the acrylic. And you just want to run it over the top. Okay, and you're just going to shape your nail, and most of us ladies know how to shape your nail. You just want to kind of smooth it out, make it all one thickness, and you want to go underneath here and shape the edge of your nail. Some people like straight across, some people like round, some people like the more pointed, you know, like stiletto look at the end of their nail. So it's really just your preference. What do you want them to look like? Make sure that the edge is even, and so you're just gonna file your nails just as if they're your natural nails, and you're gonna make them look the way you want. Okay, so like this one, I'm done, and like I said, a regular nail file is cheaper, and you have a little bit more precision, in my opinion. So you're just gonna kind of run that over the top there. Okay, and basically this is the end result. When you're looking at these nails, you'll see they're bumpy, they're kind of messy. What you want is when you're finished filing, just use your file around the nail. However, what you want let me get that powder off there. You want it to be streamlined straight down like this on the sides with no extra acrylic hanging off the end. You want to clean this up here, and you don't want anything underneath here, and you don't want anything hanging off the bottom of the nail where it looks like crap, okay? So you just clean up the nail. All right, so there's okay, we're almost finished. So now the nails are shaped, okay, and you can see they look a lot cleaner. Look underneath, they're uniform. You don't see things like hanging off the bottom like there was before. And like I said, they're not just 100% perfect, but basically this is the shape of the nail, and I'm done. Now, one last step that's optional is you can use a buffing block just to kind of make sure everything's smoothed out because we were filing it. So that's another option you can do before you paint them. So if you wanted to do a white tip, you could. You would just put a top coat over this and you would be finished. I don't think it looks... I put a base coat over it, which if you were going to wear these with the French tip, you would put a top coat, but I'm going to paint over them. So I did put a base coat in there, and of course when you put the base coat, it makes this up here, your natural nail, it makes it a little bit clearer. So I will insert some pictures. Overall, it looks pretty good, especially when you think of how much money you're saving. From far away, it looks just like I would probably get at a salon. The only thing is they don't feel quite as hard, but at the same time, when you first get your nails done at a salon, I don't know about you guys, but the acrylic doesn't really seem totally hard or totally solid till maybe the next day. They feel kind of loose on my nails until the next day after they've had some time to, set up and harden and everything else. So, we'll see how long these last. I know that they will not last as long as getting them professionally done, but after you buy everything for this, which it is somewhat expensive up front, but all you really need are some nail tips. These are the only necessities, okay? I had some extras in there, but all you really need is the nail tips, so $5. You need a nail file, which you already have one, but let's say $1, so $6. This thing might have been 10, but I doubt it. But let's aim high. Let's say 10, so that's $16. Then you need your liquid here, which was 7, so that's 23. And then a brush, $24 maybe. And then you need this powder, which I think was maybe 5. So let's say, and that's, really overestimating the price of some of the things. So let's say this costs you $30 for everything. That's what it's going to cost you to go and get a full set on at the salon. But the difference is you got enough stuff for you to do your nails over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this, I'm sure, costs less than $5 to do. It does take time. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of patience, especially when you're first learning how to do it. This took me, I think, about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but then again, I've been, filming kind of in the process. But I think it took me maybe an hour and a half, but when I go to a salon, I wait for usually like 30 minutes, even when I have an appointment, and then it takes forever. So, and at least this you can do it in the comfort of your home while you're watching TV, and you can just save money, and all it takes is practice. You've got to do it over and over and over again, and it's going to look like crap over and over and over again, and then eventually you're going to start getting the hang of it, and it's going to look a lot better. So, here are my at-home acrylic nails. They look pretty good considering they were totally cheap. So I'm going to go on and paint these because I'm not really going to go with the French tip look. But if you wanted to go with the French tip look, this is kind of as good as they're going to look if you do them at home. So if this looks great to you, do them at home. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting. So I'll insert some pictures for this and look out for that next video. Bye, guys.